I was halfway through my power walk, trying to hit my daily step count, when it hit me. Not a cramp, not a stitch, but it. The kind of it that makes you suddenly very aware of your bladder and the vast, empty expanse of the park around you. I'd taken a new route today, a detour through an unfamiliar part of town, thinking I was being adventurous. Now, adventure felt like a cruel joke. Panic started to bubble. My phone, usually a source of endless distraction, became my only hope. I fumbled it out, my fingers trembling slightly. Okay, think, I muttered to myself. What do people do? Then it clicked. Google Maps. Of course. I unlocked the screen, opened the app, and with a desperate tap, typed the magic words. Restrooms near me. The map zoomed in, a few red pins popping up. One was a coffee shop too far. Another, a gas station, also a trek. But then, a third pin, surprisingly close, labeled. The Curious Curio. The Curious Curio? I mumbled. Sounded less like a restroom and more like a place where you'd find a taxidermied squirrel playing a tiny banjo. But beggars couldn't be choosers. The blue line appeared, indicating a mere 3-minute walk. 3 minutes felt like an eternity. I practically power-walk sprinted down a side street, my eyes scanning for the Curious Curio. It was tucked between a laundromat and a very serious-looking accountant's office. The storefront was cluttered, even from the outside, with dusty mannequins in vintage clothes and stacks of old books. A hand-painted sign, barely legible, confirmed it was the place. Pushing open the heavy wooden door, a bell jingled loudly, announcing my arrival. The air inside was thick with the smell of old paper, dust, and something vaguely floral, like dried potpourri from the 70s. Every surface was crammed with stuff. Clocks, porcelain dolls with unsettling stares, antique typewriters, stacks of vinyl records, and what looked like a collection of very old, very rusty tools. A woman emerged from behind a towering display of chipped teacups. She was small, with bright, inquisitive eyes behind thick spectacles, and her hair was a wild, silver cloud. She wore a velvet waistcoat over a floral dress. Well, hello there, dearie, she chirped, her voice surprisingly strong. Lost, or just admiring the chaos? Either exactly, I stammered, trying to sound calm despite the internal alarm bells. I was hoping you might have a public restroom? Her eyes twinkled. A public convenience, you say? Indeed. Though it's more of a private convenience that I sometimes share with the public, if they ask nicely. And you, dearie, asked very nicely? She gestured vaguely towards the back of the shop. Just past the collection of miniature thimbles, turn left at the display of pre-war hatpins, and it's behind the cabinet of unsettling porcelain clowns. Don't mind Bartholomew, he's a bit judgmental. My heart sank a little at the thought of navigating a clown-guarded restroom, but the urgency overruled any aesthetic concerns. I nodded, mumbled a quick thank you, and began my perilous journey. The shop was a labyrinth. I navigated around a life-sized wooden horse, squeezed past a shelf overflowing with what looked like ancient medical instruments, and tried not to make eye contact with a particularly stern-looking bust of a Roman emperor. The thimbles were indeed miniature, the hatpins surprisingly sharp-looking. And then, the clowns. A cabinet full of them, all with chipped paint and vacant stares, one of them indeed looking particularly judgmental, just as she'd warned. Bartholomew, I presumed. I found the door, thankfully unmarked by any clown-related decor. It was a small, surprisingly clean room, considering the rest of the shop. Relief washed over me in a wave so profound it almost made me dizzy. Afterward, feeling significantly lighter and less panicked, I made my way back through the maze. The woman was now polishing a tarnished silver teapot. Find everything you needed, dearie? She asked, without looking up. Absolutely, I said, genuinely grateful. Thank you so much. Google Maps led me right to you. She chuckled, a dry, rustling sound. Google Maps, you say? Well, I suppose even the algorithms know a good secret when they see one. Most people just wander in, drawn by the sheer magnetic pull of forgotten treasures. She finally looked up, a mischievous glint in her eye. Did you happen to notice the collection of antique butter churns? Quite rare, those. I hadn't, but I wasn't about to admit it. I was a bit focused on my primary objective, I confessed with a small smile. She laughed again. Understandable, understandable. Well, do come back when you're not in such a hurry. There's a story behind every single item in here, you know. And perhaps a less urgent need for a convenience. I thanked her again, promising to return, though I wasn't sure I would. The thought of navigating Bartholomew again was a deterrent. As I stepped back out into the bright afternoon sun, the fresh air felt incredible. My power walk was definitely over, but I had a new appreciation for the random, unexpected places Google Maps could lead you, and the eccentric guardians of those places. And I had a story, a very random story, about a very urgent need and a very curious curio shop. All arguments closed.